Hey everyone, welcome to the Curious Girl Diaries podcast. I'm Layla London, aka The Curious Girl. Now, just to let you know, this podcast is not suitable for work. It's also not suitable for anybody under 18. But the rest of you consenting adults, let's get ready to talk about my sex life, sex in general, and everything in between in explicit, raunchy, fun detail. All right, here we go. Okay, so this podcast is probably going to be pretty unorganized again. It's just something it's like I have to get this out. And I don't have any notes or anything like that. A lot of times when I do a podcast, I'll write down bullet points, just things I definitely want to touch on so that I can kind of keep myself organized. This will be just a disorganized hot mess. And speaking of that, I just posted the podcast I did with Cowboy N. I changed the settings on my microphone because there was somebody else and I wanted the sound to pick up from both sides of the microphone. But I actually think I did something. I think I put it on the wrong setting. Anyway, the sound quality is kind of crappy, but bear with it. I think it's a funny little podcast, a good one. And you get a little insight into Cowboy. And I apologize for the quality because I should have listened to it first. We should have done a test. We did a test with one setting and that didn't work. And then I switched it and just kind of went for it. So because it's a long post, I don't want to jack around and try to do another one. And, we're going to roll with it. So anyway, that's up. Give that a listen. Okay. This is kind of springing off of that. So I had a discussion with Cowboy N after that podcast that evening. And there's something that's coming up that I'm sort of having a real difficult time with. And that is, this whole dominant, submissive role. Originally I thought, that I wanted to do it and, it seemed there was a huge draw for me. And, a big part of me is super intrigued and wants to do it. And I think it's sexy and, and just very exciting. And I'm wanting to push that boundary. And what I'm finding is that I'm having a really, really hard time with it. Much more difficult than I thought, surprisingly difficult. Like almost like, where you have a physical like my throat gets constricted when I start thinking about it, or when I'm in the moment, I'm like, not because I have a hand over my throat. that is the case sometimes, but no, it's more just like I've been trying to go there, and I didn't actually realize, and it was just kind of pointed out to me, like that I have been fighting it, and I haven't really been going along with the program, so to speak. And, and I thought about it, and it's true. I'm not going along with the program, and I'm sitting here, and I said I'd be honest about this shit, and so here, it's like I'm gonna put it out there, and this is not an easy podcast for me because it's going to be revealing, and where I'm actually just thinking about, taking a look at what is really holding me back from this. And it's surprising. I mean, I certainly I just did not expect that would be the case, that I would be so, reluctant or have a hard time with it. Like when I get there and I'm in the moment, like it's almost like I can't bring myself to do it. And I think it has a huge part to do with the fact that I'm just in my normal everyday life, very, very, a very dominant woman. I have to be for my business and just, kind of, in order to make things happen, I have to be a real driver, a type A. And I would say, though, to be frank, that's pretty much always been my personality anyway. And so for me to sort of let go of that and give that to someone else, I I don't really have a clue. I don't really have a clue how to do that. And every time, and it's also like the other thing that's really, I mean, the, big factor with that is the trusting somebody with that. And more so than them, really probably trusting myself, trusting that I can do that and I'll still be okay. Because, that gets into a real, for me, a real gray zone. And, when I'm in the unfamiliar territory, and that is extremely unfamiliar territory, that's when the wheels come off the bus, and in my normal life, like, that cannot happen. I have to be in control. And so just trying to get there, it has been extremely, you know, shockingly difficult. Like, I can't, I don't know why I'm struggling with it so badly, but I am. Now I'm going to keep pushing. I'm not giving up. But I just thought that that would be a piece of cake because I thought it would be fun and I thought it would be easy to do. And it's pushing up against something in me that's like, oh, fuck, no. And it's probably just ego based. It's probably more ego based than anything. And, I I I had little, I had little glimpses of it in some of the stuff that we've done, that Cowboy N and I have done, and then I would sort of, partake in that power exchange, and I had a very good time, um, and I liked it a lot. I don't know why this feels like a bigger jump for me. Um, I feel like there's more asked of me this time. Like now, okay, all right, you've toe dipped. Now you really have to do it. And yeah, I'm like I'm baffled by it. And you know, Cowboy and keeps asking me where my boundaries are, and the truth is I don't know. I keep saying I don't know. I think that's frustrating for him, but I don't fucking know. Um, because this is so unfamiliar, and I'm not really sure that he understands me well enough to get how unfamiliar this is for me. I mean, this is so not me. So not me. So not me. But I want it to be me. I mean, I am drawn. There's a part of me, like, I think the part that's saying no, 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 and really putting up the biggest fight is the ego. And then there's then there's a part of the real me that's just like, you know, um, hey, you want this. You need to really just let go and go with it. And and so it's really strange how conflicted I am about it, and how it's presenting itself, in the moment where, I'm pretty much doing everything I can to kind of fight against it. Um, not and again, not necessarily with that intention, or approaching it that way. I can see it in retrospect now, because we did have a pretty frank conversation, and I'm like, God, even just thinking about it right now, I swear to God, my heart's beating faster. It's like, it makes me so fucking nervous. I need to I need some water. Hold on a second. My mouth is getting dry. Like swear to God, I have a physical reaction to this. Okay. Oh, there we go. That's better. So, yeah, like, so I'm trying to answer that question for myself. Like, can I be a submissive? Can I be submissive? I think the first time it sort of hit me square in the eyes was, I don't know if it was a week ago or whatever, he said something like, da 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 da, you did this to your potential dom. And I was like, I read it and I was like, what? Well, who the hell said, wait a minute, who signed up for that? And who said this was on the table? And, and then I was just like, well, that's really what you've been doing, but not, you've been doing, but not doing. And so, um, I need to either, switch gears and say, hey, that's not for me, or, put up or shut up. Because I'm right now, I'm just kind of like going in a big circle, like a dog chasing its tail. And, I hope I can get there. I'm gonna really, really, really try. I mean, I swear my mom has some fucking anti-anxiety medicine. Maybe I'll take that. I'm just kidding. I'm not gonna do that. But that might help me at least just take the edge off. I do not know what. Yeah, it's blowing me away. It's blowing me away. I've never felt anything like it. I've never felt so challenged internally. I mean, I've solved some big fucking problems. That is what I do. I mean, that's what really, I don't like the actual business that I do. It's really more problem solving than anything. And nothing rattles my cage. I mean, no thing. And this, then there's something like this where someone's like, okay, now it's time for you to be submissive. And I'm like, you've like, it's almost like he's saying, it's time for you to cut off your right arm. Here's the machete, do it. And I'm like, paralyzed with fear. Like, what? I don't know. What do I think is going to happen? If I can just let go of the wheel and, and stop, goofing around, and jump in with both feet, just jump in the fucking deep end, go. That's the only way to do it. So I'm going to try. I'm going to fucking try. I don't know what's going to happen. And I'm like, why is this so damn hard? I'm, I'm perplexed, I'm perplexed about it. But there's a big part of me that says, if it's causing this much whatever to come up in you, you better face it. Whatever it is, you better walk right through it and go and do it and see what happens. And maybe it's all in your head, but like I said, you would think instead of, hey, let's do something very fun and pleasurable, you would think he's asking me to cut off my right arm. And I don't necessarily, well, I was going to say, I don't necessarily understand that, but that would not be true. So I don't want to say something that's not truthful. I am though surprised. I'm not surprised that it's difficult. I'm surprised at how difficult I'm finding it. Like, that's been the biggest, like, holy shit, like, why is this so hard? Like, I mean, I honestly could not wait to get the fuck out of there after that conversation. I'm like, alrighty, gotta go. and really not, again, it's nothing. It's not about him at all. It has really nothing to do with him. It's all about me and the stuff that this is, the reaction that this is causing. And I just wanted to get in the car and think. I wanted to be alone with my thoughts and think it through. And I don't think I got, I kind of had to sleep on it. I'm always good when I sleep on something. And then the next day, when I woke up, I was just like, this is really freaking you out. He is touching on something big, a hot button. And I don't want anybody or anything to strip away that control. And that's a protective thing. That's how I make sure that everything goes my way. And if I can't be controlling the outcome of something, it's hard for me. I mean, I did kind of tell him that, my whole life is built around that. I've built my whole life around that. Really. I'm not going to say my name. I'll use Curious Girl. It's the Curious Girl show. And, if you're not down with that, you got to get in line, get with the program, or that's, or there's really no other option. I mean, that's kind of, especially, business wise, that's how I run it. And that obviously works in certain aspects. And this is just one area that it doesn't work. And in fact, it's the complete opposite. And so I'm kind of going, shit, how do I, what do I do? How do I be that vulnerable? How do I be that exposed? I don't know. I do not know. Other than, like I said, you just jump in the fucking deep end and I hope I don't have an anxiety attack. And if I do, shit, I'll pass out right there. I won't even need my safe word. Oh, God. Anyway, so I think that's what I needed to get off my chest. That's what I needed to be put on here. I know it's crazy. I mean, I said, like, I would, as I was doing this, I knew that this would, inadvertently, it's gonna bring up emotions. I mean, all in the full spectrum. And it has with people that I meet, and they, we kind of get attached, and that, if it doesn't work and things like that. I mean, that, kind of happened with Titanic, and, and there's just all this there's all these weird dynamics and things. And so I, as someone who's always kind of very closed off, this is highly unusual for me to be doing a blog. And I'm closed off in private. So doing a blog, and then B, just putting it out there like that. It's really different for me. So, but I'm trying to do different stuff. So this is good. Change is good. That'll be my mantra. And, and go from there. So anyway, there you have it. Sorry for the rambling. I know this is an odd subject, but I felt like I better get right now while I'm like, but it's fresh in my mind and I'm feeling it. I better say it because it's going to be the most honest I can be. If I waited, or if I even wrote about it, there's probably a risk that I would modify it, change it, in some attempt to not really expose myself fully. So there you go. There's a look up under my skirt. Hope it was enjoyable. As usual, questions or comments you can send to curiousgirl@thecuriousgirldiaries.com.